Imagine telling your overbearing HOA that you're not part of their ridiculous rules, only for them to call the cops on you in a fit of rage. But then the ultimate twist hits when they discover you're actually their new landlord, ready to flip the script on their petty empire. This is the kind of HOA drama that goes viral, with entitlement, revenge, and sweet justice all rolled into one unbelievable tale. If you're obsessed with these HOA nightmare stories like I am, smash that like button right now, subscribe to the channel for more epic takedowns, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Let's jump straight into this wild ride. In the quiet suburbs of Willow Creek, where manicured lawns stretched like green carpets under the watchful eyes of nosy neighbors, the Homeowners Association ruled with an iron fist wrapped in a velvet glove of community guidelines. Led by Margaret Hargrove, a woman whose sharp features and even sharper tongue had earned her the unofficial title of the neighborhood's queen bee, the HOA enforced rules that bordered on the absurd. No pink flamingos in the yards, no cars parked on the street after dusk, and heaven forbid anyone plant a vegetable garden without prior approval. The residents, mostly retirees and young families desperate for harmony, complied out of fear of fines that could drain their savings or liens that could tarnish their credit. But then came Alex Thompson, a mid-30s software engineer who had inherited a modest house on the edge of the development from a distant uncle. The property sat on a parcel that predated the HOA's formation, a quirky holdout from when the land was divided decades ago. Alex's home wasn't subject to the association's bylaws, a fact buried in old deeds and forgotten by most. Alex moved in quietly, seeking solace after a messy divorce with plans to renovate the outdated bungalow into a modern retreat. The first signs of trouble emerged on a crisp autumn morning when Alex parked a rented moving truck in the driveway, its rear end slightly overhanging the curb. Margaret, on her daily patrol with clipboard in hand, spotted the infraction immediately. She marched over, her heels clicking like warning shots on the pavement. Alex, unloading boxes, explained the situation calmly. But Margaret's response was a barrage of accusations about violating parking ordinances that didn't apply. Undeterred, Alex reiterated the property's exemption, pulling out a copy of the deed to prove it. Margaret's face twisted in disbelief, her authority challenged in broad daylight. She retreated, but not without vowing to investigate further. That evening, as Alex settled in with a cup of coffee, blue lights flashed outside the window. 2 police officers knocked on the door, summoned by an anonymous tip about a suspicious vehicle and potential trespassing. Alex cooperated, showing the officers the documentation, and after a brief check they apologized for the disturbance, hinting that such calls were common in this neighborhood. As they left, Alex caught a glimpse of Margaret peering from her curtains across the street, her satisfaction evident even from afar. The incident left Alex rattled but determined to stand ground. Over the next few weeks, the harassment escalated subtly. Alex's mailbox overflowed with HOA newsletters and violation notices, each one more insistent than the last, demanding compliance or threatening legal action. Alex ignored them, focusing instead on personal projects like installing solar panels on the roof, a move that sent shockwaves through the community chat groups. Whispers spread that this newcomer was undermining the very fabric of their orderly world. Margaret rallied the board members during their monthly meeting in the community clubhouse, a squat building at the development center that served as their headquarters. They plotted ways to pressure Alex into joining voluntarily, perhaps by petitioning the city to annex the property. Unbeknownst to them, Alex began digging into the HOA's history out of curiosity and self-defense. Late nights poring over public records revealed intriguing details. The development was built on land originally owned by a single entity, with the HOA formed later to manage common areas. But the clubhouse and several green spaces were leased from a holding company that had changed hands multiple times. Alex's uncle, it turned out, had been a silent partner in that company years ago, though he never mentioned it. This sparked an idea in Alex's mind, a seed of opportunity amid the annoyance. As winter approached, the tension simmered. Alex hosted a small housewarming gathering for a few non-HOA friends, with music spilling into the night. Margaret, ever vigilant, documented the noise and called the authorities again, this time for a disturbance complaint. The officers arrived, assessed the situation as minor, and left with warnings for both sides. Alex felt the noose tightening, the constant scrutiny wearing down the initial excitement of the new home. But the research paid off when Alex contacted the holding company and learned it was up for sale due to the owner's retirement. The price was steep but within reach thanks to a recent work bonus and the inheritance. Negotiations began in secret, with Alex forming a LLC to mask the identity. The board, oblivious, continued their campaign, even organizing a neighborhood watch focused suspiciously on Alex's property. By the time spring buds appeared, the deal was in motion, setting the stage for a revelation that would shake the foundations of their controlled little kingdom. As the season shifted and the deal inched closer to completion, Alex maintained a facade of indifference to the ongoing HOA antics. Margaret's letters grew more aggressive, now including veiled threats of community ostracism and hints at involving higher authorities, like the county zoning board. Alex responded minimally through certified mail, reiterating the exemption each time. The neighborhood buzzed with speculation. Some residents sympathized with Alex, tired of Margaret's reign, while others rallied behind her, fearing change. Alex's days filled with work calls and renovation plans, but evenings were dedicated to the acquisition. The holding company, Willow Holdings, owned not just the clubhouse but the underlying land for several communal amenities, including the pool and playgrounds. The lease agreements with the HOA were long-term, but included clauses for renegotiation upon ownership change. Alex envisioned reforms, fairer rules, lower fees, perhaps even dissolving unnecessary restrictions. But first, the purchase needed to finalize without leaks. A close call came when a board member, nosy accountant Harold, spotted Alex at the county recorder's office and inquired casually. Alex deflected with talk of home improvements, but the encounter heightened paranoia. Meanwhile, the HOA planned their annual spring gala at the clubhouse, a lavish event funded by dues, where Margaret would announce new initiatives like mandatory lawn audits. Invitations went out, excluding Alex pointedly. On the day of the gala, as preparations buzzed, Alex received the closing documents via email. The transfer was complete. Ownership of Willow Holdings now rested with Alex's LLC, making Alex the de facto landlord of the HOA's prized assets. The timing couldn't have been more poetic. That night, as fairy lights twinkled and residents mingled, Alex contemplated the next move, deciding to let the truth unfold organically. The following week brought the first test. The HOA's lease payment was due, and Alex's attorney sent a notice of ownership change, requesting a meeting to discuss terms. Margaret dismissed it initially as a clerical error, but verification calls confirmed the nightmare. Panic rippled through the board as they realized their tormentor held the keys to their domain. Attempts to contest the sale fell flat. Everything was legal. Alex scheduled the meeting at the clubhouse, now technically Alex's property. The board arrived tense, Margaret leading with bluster, but the atmosphere shifted when Alex walked in, documents in hand. The revelation hit like a thunderclap. The outsider they had harassed was now their landlord. Negotiations turned the tables. Alex proposed reasonable changes, like reducing frivolous rules and auditing finances, which had been mismanaged under Margaret's watch. Resignations followed, with Margaret stepping down amid grumbling. The neighborhood breathed easier, with Alex integrating the property fully but on fair terms. New leadership emerged, focused on community rather than control. Alex's home became a hub for gatherings free from petty oversight, and the once divided suburb found a fragile peace. The experience transformed Alex, from reluctant inheritor to empowered owner, proving that sometimes the best revenge is taking the reins. And as the dust settled, the story spread through online forums, a cautionary tale for overzealous HOAs everywhere. Thanks for sticking around to the end of this insane HOA revenge saga. If it had you hooked, drop a like, hit subscribe, and ring the bell for more stories like this. Share your own crazy neighbor tales in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.